Therapist perception.
Bachelorette. Okay, so we're here for Reactivity TV, and we are reacting to episode 2 or week 2 of season 27 of The Bachelor with Zach Shallcross as our main event. And I know when we were like introing that we were going to be doing Reactivity TV on The Bachelor, I was like, the boring Zach Shallcross. But miraculously, there's still a ton of stuff to talk about, even though he's maybe a little bit bland.
Mm-hmm. Right. And a lot of different stuff that we actually haven't touched on yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what stood out to you?
So obviously one thing that they kept talking about throughout this episode, but because of that group date, was this whole bad bitch energy thing. It was a part of the group date. It was a part of the activity that they had to do. But it was just like a concept that then just kept coming up. But I want to talk about my feelings around that. So I like the concept. I like the concept of like, tell me a time when you were bold. Tell me a time when you stood up for yourself. Tell me about a time when you were confident. Show me your confidence. I think that was a very cool exercise to do. I think it's like, if I'm Zach, I want to see these different sides of the women I'm dating. And this is an interesting way to do that. I didn't like the execution around it. I didn't like the language and and the like message. I don't know. Like this could totally just be my issue with it, but I don't like the idea of like telling people to be bad bitches. Do you feel the same way? I don't know.
Like just like forcing it on someone.
It did seem very forced. Like a lot of these girls had like discomfort around even saying it. I think like it's not that it's like I said, I think the concept is good, but I don't like what the language implies. That like the only way for you to be bold is for you to be a bitch and for you to be bad. Mm-hmm. Like it's warping this thing that's supposed to be good and helpful, and it's taking it and making it into something that's not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's where I just take issue with it, because it's literally taking two words that are the opposite of what you're actually wanting something to do.
Right. So the words themselves are problematic because they have like a negative connotation.
Right. And I don't think like, I won't even get into this, but it's really the execution around, all right, show me your bad bitch energy, do this sexy catwalk, and that's how you're going to show me your bad bitch energy.
Yeah.
What did he get out of that?
A lot of
other than maybe like, he looked like he was uncomfortable. But like, what did he really get to see from these women by them strutting towards him with leather straps and like, I didn't find it empowering in the slightest. I found that the opposite.
Yeah, So yes, that's what I took issue with, is like this contrived, like bad bitch energy. It reminded me of a couple of seasons ago, maybe it was on Clayton's season, when they were like, we're going to do therapy and we're going to force you to be vulnerable. Like, no, that does not vulnerability make. And same with this too. Like, being told how to be a bad bitch is like the opposite of what being a bad bitch is supposed to be about. And I don't know, I guess I'm also, maybe this is my bias, but I'm just like so much more of the like, show me, don't tell me. Like, don't tell me you're a bad bitch. Just be one. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Just that idea.
But then show me with, and like you actually brought this up in our Slack channel while we were watching, but like, show me that you're a bad bitch, but that's supposed to be a good thing. But then it's communicated by these 3 contestants who have had a lot of issues on the show, causing a lot of drama, causing a lot of problems with other contestants and in general. So like
they were villains on the show. I mean, Courtney and exactly. Victoria F were, I mean, Courtney is like the super villain of the franchise. And so, yeah, having these, I mean, Tajwan, I think is, you know, a kind of in a different camp there, but like, yeah, so it's kind of like, it felt so like disconnected and it kind of missed the point of it.
Right. They could have said, show me your confidence, show me you're bold. And it could have been communicated by people who represented that from the show. Not people who, were villains. Mm-hmm. That didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And if those are your representatives of what bad bitch energy is, then like, ooh, do I even want to be a bad bitch? Like,
exactly. That's where it just was so confusing.
Yeah, there was a disconnect.
Like, so if we're trying to make bad bitch a cool like thing to aspire to, but then we're looking up to these people who have shown a lot of other things to us from the show. How are we supposed to make that connection? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As contestants, I'm saying we.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just all felt so, I hate when it gets so forced like that. But yeah, I did not like that, like forced, as you said, like forced empowerment, forced confidence that like undermines the purpose or like the meaning of like the phrase itself or like the energy itself.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
No, not a fan. Ugh. What's your next one?
Well, I was kind of thinking about something that really played out a lot through the episode is that a lot of the women were being very divulging of what was happening privately between them and Zach. So they were like, they would have an intimate moment with Zach and then would go back and like share details about the date. And it felt like more than ever we're seeing that. And again, I don't know if we're just seeing it more, like they're showing it more, or if it's happening more, I don't know. But it feels, or if Zach's just like kissing everybody. So like there's just more people with more to share. But it really made me think of when on Wishing You Well, when we talked about relationships and signs of healthy versus unhealthy relationships, is the importance of having boundaries in a relationship, especially around sharing information or intimate details about your relationship with other people. And this was such a good example of this is not healthy. This is not healthy or protective of their individual relationships with Zach. And it is also not healthy or helpful for the other women to be hearing about their shared boyfriend.
Whether or not they use tongue.
Oh, that was a whole other thing. And one of the women, oh God, I'm like blanking on her name, but she is the contestant who does like rodeo stuff. She like had the lasso. Her name starts with a C, I think. I don't remember. I apologize. But she was so well boundaried and said, I don't want to hear this. And she got up and she removed herself. And I thought, like, good for you, because that's hard to do with like all of these women. There might be all sorts of thoughts that you might tell yourself about how it might appear. But you have to protect your peace, especially on the show where it's so stressful and so overwhelming. And I think that sometimes people share these details to like manipulate a little bit, like as part of the game. It's not helpful. And it can make you, I guess, feel more insecure in yourself and in your relationship by remaining a part of it. And so that's kind of what stuck out to me was the oversharing.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I can understand why they would, and even like not a manipulative way, because they don't have any of their friends around who they would actually tell this to. Mm-hmm. And we know that a lot of these women actually become very close friends afterwards anyway. So I think a lot of that starts in these, moments. But I totally agree with you in that if you're actually there to pursue Zach and to see where this relationship goes, then you can't listen to other people sharing their own relationship and their own experience with Zach, because it's totally going to mess with your own journey through this. And sharing what you're doing doesn't have the same effect as it would sharing it with your friends back home. Mm-hmm. and sharing it with people who mm-hmm. who have no connection mm-hmm. to this person.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that sharing intimate details about your relationship with other people decreases the intimacy of the relationship. And so I think there's that piece of it too. Like, these moments are special and they're private, and how can we keep them? We need to honor them and honor the special moments. And there, I think there is a way to share, without divulging everything. Because I see what you're like, this is stressful. Like, no one else can understand what they're going through better than the 20 other girls there. But at the same time, like, there needs to be a balance. And as you're saying, if you're really there to pursue this relationship, you have to do it in a way that protects your peace and also the relationship that you're building.
Totally.
What else you got?
The other one was Zach's decision to take Christina Mandrell, don't remember her name, to meet his family on the first date.
Ugh. Bad.
Just like big no. I mean, what was that?
Mm-hmm. Without warning either. He just like sprung it on her.
Right. Not like, oh, we're going on this romantic helicopter somewhere really cool. Like, we're on the doorstep of my parents. My family's house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He totally just dropped that bomb.
Yeah.
And I mean, that decision in a relationship outside of the show is usually a joint decision. Mm-hmm. Like, are we ready for that? Are we at that point in our relationship where I want to introduce you to my family? I mean, like, they even do this on the show where they wait a very long time before hometowns happen and like the meeting of the families happens, because it's actually like honoring that real life scenario of like, you don't typically do that right off the bat. It's usually a more gradual, longer term process before you bring somebody to your family.
Yeah. Well, and I think the emphasis they put on meeting the parents, it might be different. Like, there might be some people who are like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, or like, my family's cool. Like, they'll meet anybody. Like, there's not that much significance, so to speak, of like introducing who I'm dating to my family. And like, so like, fine. Everyone, there's a spectrum of that. Or there are people that are like, no, it's only when I'm like in a serious, committed, long-term relationship that I'm introducing the family. But
again, another joint decision.
I was just going to say, and regardless of that. Yeah.
Right. And had they had that conversation, it may have been very different for Christina, who, if she's bringing him home to meet her family, it's her daughter.
Mhm.
So she may take that way more seriously,
Yes.
introducing her daughter to somebody, than he does introducing his family to somebody.
Exactly.
He didn't know that. He didn't even know that about her yet. So,
Yeah.
like, you don't know anything. This is your first date. You don't know anything about each other yet.
Mhm.
And this happens.
Right. No, that's such a good point that, like, yes, if I'm saying, like, yeah, I don't care if Catherine meets my parents. I'm cool with that. But, like, for you, meeting the parents is like a really big thing that might communicate that we are maybe at a level of seriousness for you that I'm not feeling. And so, yeah, we need to be having these conversations in relationships, that they are conversations. And I will admit, my mom accidentally met my husband. Like, it like wasn't planned. It was kind of like an accidental like drive by, but it wasn't like it was like, oh, hey, this is my mom, all right, see ya. Like, so, so, like, okay, like, it happened to me, but like a more significant actual meeting of the parents should be discussed, I think.
Yeah, this was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'd be out. That'd be a deal breaker for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's too much. You don't even know this person yet. And like, you're already meeting their family. Yeah. There's just too much there.
Yeah. For me, like, it could be anything. Like, do not put me in a situation that is so like pressure filled without like that it feels disrespectful. Like, I'd be like immediately out. Like, so, it wasn't even, it was more that, like, you sprung it on this poor woman.
Yeah. She handled it better than you and I.
She did. Yeah. She rolled with it, but I am not Christina Vendrell. So here we are.
All right. What's your next thing?
So I don't know if you caught this or not, but as the credits were rolling, they like went to a conversation of the women in the house, and they were talking about, I think someone asked, like, at what point in a relationship, like, do you fart in front of who you're dating? And they were like, what? Never, ever. And they kind of like went on and on about, like, no, girls don't poop and girls don't fart. And like, if I need to do that, like, then I'll like go somewhere else to do that. But like, no way, no. And, and I just was like, oh, like, I feel sad for you all. Because, well, I think it also perpetuates a stereotype about women and how we need to essentially be like perfect, and not humans. Like, we're humans. We have human bodily functions. And I just, so that like really irked me a little bit. It just like made me feel really sad. And I do think, I know when we've, again, on a previous Reactivity TV, I think you and I might line up differently about like how much, like, for me, I think I refer to it as mystery. Like, I'd still like a little mystery within a relationship, but like, that doesn't mean that it never happens, or like, I would hope that if you're in a trusting, loving relationship with someone, they also know that you're a human and not a robot that like charges at the end of the night. It, like, you plug me into a wall and then I wake up, without makeup on and all of that stuff. Like, it just felt like, oh, like, can we not perpetuate this idea that women need to be perfect and have it all together, please? Like, please, can we not?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I think I stopped watching when they were like, preview of the season. And I was like, all right, we're past 10 o'clock. Gotta go. But no, I wouldn't have liked to watch that either. I mean, because I totally agree. I don't think that women having those conversations helps any cause of any kind.
That is not a bad bitch energy, ladies.
No, it is not.
Yeah. And so I think I was feeling, I think I was feeling like a little bit triggered by it because, again, I think it does, it sets us back in a lot of ways. And just like puts again so much pressure on us as women to, yeah, do it all and be all and not be a human. And I know like this is something again on our podcast I talk about my personal journey with is like remembering my humanity. It's like this is like personally what I fight against. And so to like see it on national TV, like it made me so upset.
Yeah. Well, like, and so imagine these women who said this in their relationship, how much they're leaving out. Like if they're leaving that out of their relationship, what else are they being inauthentic about? What else are they not letting to be seen of themselves? And I don't literally mean to be about what they're talking about, but I mean like acknowledgement.
Right. And how insecure must you be in yourself or your relationship that you think that you'd be rejected by someone for, again, simply being a human and having a human body that like does that digests. Like that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, clearly, God, I really didn't think I was going to get that fired up today, but here we are. I'm hot.
Yeah, I mean, I got charged talking about bad bitch energy, so I'm gonna take off my sweater now. I'm sweating because I sweat because I'm a woman.
I love that bad bitch energy on you, Catherine. Okay. Well, we'll see what week 3 has to bring. But I did watch the preview for next week, and it does seem like there might be some drama going on. Ooh, you know what we didn't talk about? I guess this will play out more next week. You and I came up on different sides around the Brianna Christina Mandrell situation. So I think that's going to play out a little bit more next week. So I'm really looking forward to, chatting it out with you.
Yeah. I love when we disagree.
Me too. It's so fun. Okay. Well, until next time. We'll see you next time.